Yes. UTI is an infection that affects any part of your urinary system. It could affect the urethra, it can affect the urinary bladder, it can even go up to the kidneys in case it ascends further. And it is one of the most common bacterial infections that bring people to the hospital, and it affects more women than men in a ratio of 20:1. This is simply because naturally women have got a wider and a shorter urethra. So this gives high chances to the disease-causing microorganisms to ascend and colonize their urinary system. So these are some of the symptoms that you could use to tell that maybe you are developing, what you are suffering from is a UTI and not any other disease. One, people with UTI normally get a strong urge to urinate, that urge that you cannot even control. You feel like wetting your panties and so on. Another thing you can get is burning sensation while passing out urine, or even painful urination. Sometimes it worsens and someone starts seeing blood, or even blood in urine. Urine becomes getting smelly, pain in the lower abdomen. Sometimes people with UTI develop pain in the lower back, or even pain around below the ribs. We call it loin pain. The frequency of urination increases. You normally want to urinate so frequently, but while passing out little amount of urine. So those are some of the symptoms you can use to tell that what you're suffering from is not any other disease but a UTI. So I'm going to be giving you simple tips, simple home remedies you can use to avoid getting recurrent UTIs, or to prevent conducting UTIs. One of them is drink enough fluids. What these fluids do, they dilute the bacteria or the disease-causing organisms in the bladder and the urethra. But you need to take note, when you are taking antibiotics or any other drugs, you need to regulate the amount of fluids you take, because when you are taking medication, we want always to concentrate much of the drugs in the body before it gets expelled out. And taking too much water or fluids increases the chances of body excreting these drugs. So you need to take note of that. Another thing, after using the toilet, make sure you wipe from front to back and not the other way around, to avoid picking the disease-causing organisms. There are very many microorganisms that dwell within our intestines and the GIT, the one we normally refer to as the gut microbiota. So once you wipe from back to front, you are picking some of the bacteria from the anal area into our genitals, which can end up infecting you. So make sure you wipe from front to back and not the other way around. Another thing, empty the bladder immediately after sex. This prevents bacterial colonization in our urethras and the bladder in case you passed out urine immediately after sex, in case your partner was infected. And also, empty your bladder fully when you go to urinate. Don't keep a full bladder. It increases the chances of bacteria colonizing and finally infecting you with UTI in case you constantly keep full bladder. And whenever you get the urge to urinate, make sure you urinate immediately, don't delay. Another thing you can do, try to avoid putting on wet panties, and after washing them, make sure you hang them under the sunshine, because sunshine kills most of the bacteria that would end up infecting you. And avoid, if you cannot avoid the public toilets, so when you go to use the public bathrooms, make sure you are careful not to avoid that backsplash of urine when you're using the public toilets, especially for the ladies. Another remedy you can use, avoid potentially irritating feminine products. For example, people who use vaginal douches, vaginal sprays, and so much. These things can irritate actually your urethra, And also what they do, the most danger thing they do, they kill the would-be good bacteria. Most of us live with the ones we call the good bacteria or the normal flora, and they are everywhere in our bodies. But in our genitals, like for the cases of the women, there are very many bacteria that stay there, and their work is to keep that environment clean and disease free. They live in a mutual relationship with our bodies. We feed, we provide them with food, and then they competitively compete with food with the other would-be disease-causing microorganisms. So once you use these products that are corrosive, they end up wiping away everything, those vaginal microbiota, and then your genitals are left exposed and protection-free. So any disease-causing organisms that comes in, they just infect you. Remedy you can use, in case you contacted the disease, make sure you treat your partner too, because in case you treat alone, the other person, your partner will end up giving you the same disease, and you stay in the same cycles. Yeah, so those are some of the simple ways you can use to avoid or prevent contracting UTIs. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell.